G'day guys, this is Rodney from musicbusinessfacts.com. I also used to play an Alchemist back in the day, and you're listening to Collision on Voice FM.
You started out actually, well, you're best known for being an alchemist, but it's probably not where you quite started out. So how did you start out?
I was like most other kids. I had a dream. I convinced myself that music was going to be what I was going to pursue, and I really meant it. And I knew that it was going to be a long struggle. And I was 17 when I started, and I said, right, I'm going to give myself till 30, is what I remember saying to myself. And I just had a couple of mates who started a band. They needed a drummer, so I said, okay, I'll play the drums. Bought myself a shitty old kit and started to teach myself to learn how to play. And again, just had that commitment that I was just going to keep trying and trying and trying. And as we played our first gigs and everyone told us how shit we were and that we were wasting our time, I just used that as motivation to say, I'll show you fuckers, I'm going to get better at this. And that's where it really started. And then I had a lot of trouble. I always tell the story. I had a lot of trouble getting gigs because we were a pretty bad band. So I just had a natural compelling to start, doing concert promotions and putting shows on. So I can remember, contacting successful bands in Sydney and inviting them to come down to Canberra. The first band I contacted was an amazing thrash metal band for the time called Addictive. And I said, if you guys come down to Canberra, I'll organise the show for you. I don't want any money. All I want is to be able to support you guys. So I put on my first little mini festival back in about 1988, where I had about 7 bands play with Addictive headlining. And then I thought, well, this is pretty good. I'm not too bad at this because I was very passionate. And it was also a great way of getting my band on the show. And just sort of kind of evolved from there. It was just lots and lots of passion, lots and lots of hard work. But really the hard work was based off the fact that I was just really ambitious and really wanted to have a serious crack at making a dent in the music industry and trying to become a rock star.
Well, I'm a little confused actually out of that. The decision to make a business came before the music industry.
No, I wasn't thinking about business for many, many years. It wasn't until Alchemist made quite a few mistakes that I started to realise that I need to have a plan. We need to have a plan. We need to have a business model. We need to have a strategy in place to make sure that, we don't get ripped off and we don't get, we don't keep going around in circles, and we try and actually make some progress. So the business did come much, much later. At first, it was all about the music and it was all just about fumbling our way through. We had no idea what we were doing other than the fact that we used to copy Armored Angel. Armored Angel were like our big brothers. So we would see them do a CD launch or an album. Back then it was a demo launch. And we thought, okay, so that's how you do it. And we'd try and copy them. Whatever producer they used, we'd use that producer. And when they, did a certain style of thing, we'd copy them. So they were our mentors without them even knowing. And then, we were learning as we went along the way. And then, like I said, the business came when I started running little mini festivals, which really were just, kind of multi-band bills. And then I had to start realizing about, cash flow and accounting and contracts and making sure the bands were being paid and trying to learn marketing. At the same time, I was very adamant I didn't want to get a real job because I knew that a job would take away my dreams and desires to, be in this band. So I thought, well, I'll go and study. If I can study, I'll keep my hard-ass old man off my back. That'll buy me time so I can work on the band. So I went and did a media production degree. And, in the end, that was pretty good because I learned a lot of skills on that as well about marketing. And so it's just been a slow, it was a slow collective build. And to be honest, a lot of the mistakes I made was all about, that was my university. That was my music industry degree. By actually doing it and making mistakes and going, shit, I wish I hadn't have done that. But now I know for the future, which leads me to today, why I'm so passionate about what I do now is because I know that I can help so many artists who are starting out not make the mistakes that I did and give them a fast track way to hopefully achieve their dreams.
Yeah. So then do you think that setting up your own booking agency and I guess having your own business within the music industry helped you to get overseas faster or helped you at least to get overseas more comfortably? Or
Oh, look, we should have gone overseas much, much sooner than we did. And what held us back was a lot of the decisions that we made because we were so uneducated about those business decisions. It really held us back. I'm talking for many, many years. But when we finally did get over there, it was really off the back of, I was lucky to have 3 other guys in my band who were extremely passionate like myself, so we still had the self-belief to do it. And, certainly the music had come off the back of the music because we did get a little bit of attention with, international media. We got a couple of international labels that were interested in us throughout our journey. But to be honest, we just hustled. We got our first gigs over there by, writing to promoters and saving up our money and getting our asses over there. And then once we did that a couple of times, we were able to probably present one of our best assets, which at the time was our live performance. One of the great things about doing our apprenticeship here in Australia is that we played so many shows that by the time we got to Europe, we were really a tight unit. We really had our shit together. We had our show together, and that's how we got our booking agent, which then led to us, as well as the record company. I mean, I can't deny that being signed to a label was certainly an important role in getting us on a lot of those bigger shows, but that's what led us to get to those, massive shows where we did get to play, Hellfest and Grass Pop and all those amazing shows with all of our idols and stuff. So it was a combination of things, Kat.
Yeah. So then Alchemist, did that come to an end before you set up Music Business Facts? Was Music Business Facts, as you said, was that a plan that you set in action, or is that something that started to grow organically in there?
Well, how Music Business Facts came about is I've been teaching in the Diploma of Music Business since 1999, first in Canberra, then in Queensland. And what I used to do as a part of my delivery for my students is that because these are like a full year course, and I used to know that I don't want to be the guy that just stands up to young people and say that I know all of the answers, because obviously that's not true. So what I used to do was I would go and find people in my network who I really liked and respected and who really had a lot of important information to teach the people in my students, and I would bring them into my classroom and they would talk about their experiences in the music business and their views on how to become successful and their mistakes that they made and the things that they would warn people not to do. And I would film those lectures. And then the students started to say to me, well, can I get a copy of that lecture, because that was really great. And then they would say to me, do you mind if I share that lecture around? I want to show it to my band, or I want to show it to my manager. And that's when I got the idea of, I started listening to podcasts back in about 2009. And I thought, people really want this information because there's not a lot of it out there. And if it is, maybe it's really American based, or maybe it's not relative to, particularly the heavy music scene, which is obviously what I've got a strong interest in and a lot of connections in. So I thought, well, I could take those interviews and put them on a podcast, stick them up on iTunes and make them free. And that's exactly how Music Business Facts came about. I did my first interview with Alex Webster from Cannibal Corpse and stuck it up, and it got downloaded tens of thousands of times. And I was like, okay, lots of people writing to me going, thank you so much for this. This is such an amazing insight. And now I think I'm editing episode 100 next week. So 100 odd episodes later, here we are.
Right, because now I'm thinking, I do remember you get your list of who's doing the interviews at what time and that. And I do remember seeing you there doing interviews, and then your interviews would come up, and they were really they're not the average interview to promote the tour or the album. They were insightful ones, asking these people about specific things that you knew that they knew about, I guess, and putting them up there. And I was always wondering, who is this person? Where did he come from? I know now.
There you go. It was me.
Yeah. But when you do speak to these people, do you know do you research and know what area that you want to target, or do you start talking to them and get them to sort of talk about what they're most passionate about?
Well, no, it's a good question, because usually when I get an interview with an international guest, they think that I'm a blog or a podcast that's going to help promote their album. And I guess inadvertently I do, but I have to say to them, look, if I'm totally honest with you, yeah, of course, I'll tell people about your album and record, but what I want to hear from you is your views on the music industry, what you think of the state of the industry, how you became successful, all the mistakes you made, what advice have you got for people, because all of those people that are high profile that I've spoken to, they've all made huge mistakes. They've all had massive, failures. And again, and they all have great insights on how to, sort of try and get to the level where they're at. So that's what I try and extract from them in my interviews. Some of them are very accommodating, like when I spoke to Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, he was like, no one's ever talked to me about this stuff. This is really interesting. And so a few guys have kind of said that, but then I've had other guests that have kind of, they must be thinking, I don't really care to talk too much about this. This is nobody else's business, and all I really want to do is promote my record. So to answer your question, I just basically hit them up when I get on the interview with them and just see how they go. And I've had, differing degrees of success. Some have been really great, and there's been a couple of interviews that have been really, really bad. But that's just life, isn't it? As long as you're having a go, Kat.
Yeah, the bad ones, I guess, they're not very informational, so they probably don't even make it up online.
There's a couple that I haven't posted, but I probably eventually will. There's a couple that I have, like, for instance, when I interviewed Ace Frehley from Kiss, I was so excited about doing that. And the first thing he basically said to me was, you know what, I really hate the music business. I wish I didn't have to be a part of it. And I pay someone else to do all that stuff for me, so I don't have much to say about it, which from my perspective of where I was coming with the interview made a really bad interview. So you find that some musicians don't have a lot of information about the business because they have had a really good manager or a really good agent or someone looking after it for them all of their career. And as a result, they really don't know much about it themselves. I know more about it than them. But then there are some artists who had a very hands-on role in the development of their career and in their business, and they've been excellent. So, you've got differing degrees of knowledge and information that come through those interviews.
Well, I kind of remember, I think it was Fear Factory. I'm pretty sure that we all did interviews with them, and then suddenly you're making headlines because you got, I think it was CJ, to talk about the whole Soundwave thing and the money owed to them.
Yes. Well, it's funny you say that, because I didn't really have that intention at all, because Alchemist toured with Fear Factory on their very first Australian tour way back in the 90s. And so I knew Burton from then, and we were just talking. And the guy that brought out Fear Factory on that first tour was AJ Matter. And, we were just talking about that first tour, saying, yeah, wasn't that a great time and blah, blah, blah. And then he brought it up. He goes, yeah, AJ still hasn't paid us for this year. We're really pissed off. And then I was actually, I didn't want to be that guy that was, fishing for, controversy or that kind of stuff. He just brought it out there. And I actually rang AJ and I said, listen, man, I've got this really interesting interview that I've just released from Fear Factory. And I said, do you want to come on my show and talk about it? And he said, no, I don't have time. And he said, and all that stuff that Burton said's all bullshit. So, I just released it, and the people latched onto it. One of the interesting things was, though, that a lot of people didn't want to talk about it. A lot of the media who heard about it said, well, no, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to print it. I think they were worried that, AJ might not advertise in their magazine or something. I don't know. But no, it wasn't me fishing for anything. It was just having a casual conversation with Burton about the old days of touring with Alchemist, and he spurted it out and went on his rampage.
Yeah, awesome. Well, today you are running the Music Business Facts website, and not only are you doing the free interview, which is musicbusinessfacts.com, where people can go and listen to your free interviews, but you've started seminars as well now. Like, you do some free online lectures which people can register for, but you're also doing something with Matt Young from King Parrot.
Yeah, so Matt and I just finished a 8-lecture course that Matty did called The Independent Musician's Guide to Fast Tracking Your Music Career. And that literally came from, I went and saw King Parrot probably about 6 months ago. And all these young guys in bands sort of started coming up to him and saying, hey, Matt, how do you do this? Who do I contact? How do I get, how do I do what your band's doing? And I was just sitting there watching it all go down. And I said, Matt, you should come on and do a lecture. You should come and tell everyone how you got your band from the jam room to touring with Soulfly in like such, record time. And he said, do you reckon anyone would care? And I said, well, look, guys are talking to you before the show. They're asking. So he agreed to do that. And then, so he did 2 free lectures, which, there's a podcast of it and you can go and check it out at my site. And then I knew from speaking to other people that bands and musicians who are self-managed and really want to do it, having Matt for 1 hour and listening to him speak is not enough. So yeah, we did a little bit of a research and we decided to offer the course and see if anyone would be offered. And so now we've got this resource that if you want to go above and beyond the free content that Matt puts out there, and believe me, the free stuff's amazing anyway. So I would always recommend everyone start there. But if you do want to go and check out Matt's paid course, you can go to musicbusinessfacts.net /Matt Young course, and it's $300, but it's like it's probably got about, I reckon, 15 hours worth of content of Matt talking about everything from setting up your business, touring, booking agencies, management, music videos, marketing, promo, all that kind of stuff as well, which is really insightful. You get a consultation with Matt, so you can send him your music and, he'll give you feedback. So, again, it's very niche stuff, but, we had about 30 students just go through the first intake of the course, and the feedback's been amazing. People have just been saying, this is really, really, really helpful. Thank you so much. So it's a way that sort of Matt and I can get rewarded because, obviously that takes a lot of time and energy and effort to put something like that together. But also it's a a really super resource for anyone that's maybe stuck with their band, or maybe wants to see in depth how to get to that next level, or see how Matt and King Parrot were able to get to that next level. So yeah, it's exciting times. It's great to get that feedback from people that they have been able to take some of his strategies and implement it and seeing results with their own bands.
Yeah, I actually I was surprised to learn recently that King Parrot have only been together around 5 years. I've been speaking to them since right back at the start of every time they came to Ballarat. I interviewed them and that, and I thought they'd been going for a few years because they were just always so busy. I had no idea that they sort of just started, they were on high energy from the moment they got going.
Yeah, and if you talk to Matt, or if you hear him speak, or if you listen to his interviews or lectures or courses, he talks about that and how it was absolute strategy. They had an absolute plan because they didn't want to fuck around. They didn't want to be one of these bands that took 10 years to do what they wanted to do. So, they basically did it in 3 years off the back of a really solid plan, insane work ethic, and good luck to them. I mean, they've just left this week to do a 40-day tour of the US with Voivod. So amazing stuff.
That's one thing that I have found with your site is, like you say, / what was it, Matt Young lectures or something. How come you don't just put a link on the website?
Well, because I guess, I'm not trying to push the courses too hard. I don't want people to think I'm just in it to make money. I mean, obviously making money is a necessity, and I'd be lying if I say I didn't. But it's for the people that want to, really go and check it out. There's a dedicated page. I mean, maybe one day if I become a bit more efficient with my web design, the reality is I'm a one-man show doing everything myself. And yeah, I probably do need a better website, but there's just not enough hours in the day for me, Kat. I'm just going hard, doing what I can. And yes, we'll see how we go.
So really the best thing for people to do is to get signed up to your mailing list.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a free report on my website which you can download, which is basically a summary of one of the smartest managers in the country, John Watson. He did a lecture on the attributes that all successful musicians have, and if people download that in exchange for their email address, they get some amazing information, and then you'll find yourself on my email list where I'll be sending you, all my latest podcasts and free lectures and occasionally some paid courses if you're interested.
Yeah, but as you said, this is like targeted at the heavy music scene and that, because what I've seen is like the commercial scene and the metal scene, the way they run, the way people even in the labels and that, it's a completely different animal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some crossover, and I've been helping other styles of bands. Like in some of my courses, I've got managers who are managing DJs. So there are a lot of concepts that are actually similar. But yeah, of course, metal's my niche. Metal's where a lot of my contacts are in. Metal's the field that I was in for over 20 years with Alchemist. So metal's the music that I love. But no, look, I've got country and western acts. I've got DJs playing dance music. I've got like folk bands. I've got all different styles. Because when you're talking about, say, marketing plans, or you're talking about social media campaigns, or you're talking about record contracts, all the concepts are the same, generally speaking. So
yeah, and well, the first Matt Young course has finished. Are you planning a second one?
So like I said, what we're doing now with that is that we've put it up into a membership site, and anyone can purchase it and access it now. It's all been recorded, and it's just sitting there for anyone who wants to undertake it. So again, if you want me to give you the URL, it's musicbusinessfacts.net/Matt Young course. So you can go and check out that sales page, Kat, and have a look at all the stuff that's on offer there. Anyone can go to that link and buy access to that membership site and go back and listen to all of the lectures.
And so even if you come in now after the course is finished, you still get your consultation with Matt?
Yeah, you still get your consultation, you get the ebook, you get the resources list. There's a whole heap of other stuff too, which to be honest, I can't remember. But Matt's just one course. I've done another one with Gregg Donovan. Gregg Donovan manages Airborne and Grinspoon and Josh Pike and Boy and Bear and Pete Murray. I'm doing one at the moment with Andy Farrow, who manages Devon Townsend and Opeth and Catatonia and Paradise Lost. So again, I'm reaching out to these really, high level, very smart music managers, and providing lots and lots of free content, and then giving a paid version as well, which obviously goes into a lot more depth where you get access to these people. So it's working really well.
Well, you really do need to get a link to your courses and that on your website so that people can find out exactly what courses you've got running with these.
Yeah, well, see, I don't want to, because it's music, and I think music people can be very skeptical. I don't want to get a reputation that I'm this guy that's just in it to make money and pushing out, buy my course, buy my course, buy my course. So it's a fine line with the marketing of that. And to be honest, at the moment, I'm so busy doing the free content and the free seminars and all that type of stuff that I'm happy for it to just tick along at the moment. But I do agree with you. Yes, I probably need to market it a bit better and get it on my. In fact, I think I need a whole new website really. But being a one-man show, it's bloody hard.
What free advice would you give to people in the industry who are listening bands now?
Well, that's a tough question because it just depends on what their goals are. Some people just want to have a bit of fun with their mates and smash out some songs on the weekend. Some people, want to maybe go to another city and do a tour, or some people might be trying to chase, that elusive record contract, or some people might want to do a support with their heroes when they come to Australia. Some people want to really make it their business, and try and make their band their business and be, the next King Parrot and try and take it around the world and do it. So it really would depend on what their goals are, what the people in the musical entity are trying to achieve. But, if I was just going to speak generally, it would be just be professional. That's what it comes down to. And to have that plan, like I said to you, sit down and work out, well, what do you want to do? What are you doing this for? If it's just for fun, well, then nothing really matters. Just get up and have fun. But if you're doing it and you want to try and achieve any of those things which I mentioned, then you've got to develop a strategy to make it happen, rather than just kind of bumbling along and hoping that you're going to get discovered, because that's probably not going to happen for you. You've got to actually, put yourself in a position where opportunities are going to present themselves to you, and when they do present, you're going to be ready to pounce on them with all of your ducks in a row, ready to be the act that gets selected to get that support or to get that deal or to do that tour or whatever it might be. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you very much. It has been great. Is there something that we didn't actually talk about that you wanted to sort of get out?
I guess really if you could just really get people to go to, my Music Business Facts website and, just promote the site really. Just say, if you're interested in music and you're interested in the music business, this is a really good free resource for people to go and check out.
Yeah, and to download the free...
Yeah, the free report. Yeah.
Yeah, musicbusinessfacts.com. I'm on the King Parrot page now. But it was, /Matt Young course. And if you do sign up for that, then you will not only send out emails, but if there's a specific, like if people can't find the Gregg Donovan course or something, they can email asking about it.
Yeah, I can give you a couple of the links if you like. So, for instance, the Gregg Donovan course, his course is not even on my site. This is a completely different site. So this one's called artofartistmanagement.com /sales page.
Awesome.
And then my Andy Farrow one is howtomanagebands.com.
Good luck with it. It's great to see someone out there trying to help. Because these days, in the industry, it really probably is more sensible to be self-managed, particularly in the early days.
Yeah, absolutely. Until you get to that stage where you can't do it anymore. But, that's what you have to do. That's what I had to do, because when you're starting out, no one gives a fuck about you anyway. So
it has been great. Thank you very much. And, I'll definitely be checking out that Matt Young course, because I know how intelligent he is and I've got a lot to offer. Yeah,
he does indeed.
And so have you. Thank you very much for offering it.
Excellent, Kay. Well, thanks so much too for the interview. We'll talk soon.
Yes, definitely. I'll say to people, musicbusinessfacts.com on Facebook as well as your website.
Yep, that's the one.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, see you, Kat. Bye.
Bye.